I've had hundreds and hundreds of conversations with those who are in or approaching retirement. And by far, maybe the common denominator that I've seen the most is that everybody has a pie chart. But I'm here to tell you that a pie chart does not equal a plan. And for you to be successful in retirement, I don't care how much money you have, you want to have a playbook for the 5 key tenets of retirement planning. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Cody Crawford, founder of Retirement Wealth Professionals. I really want to help you achieve a work optional lifestyle. And the only way to do that, I tell people it's easy to retire. A lot of people have retired. The key is, can you retire and never have to look back and not have anxiety chipping away at you year after year after year because of uncertainty? People run out of uncertainty way before they run out of money. And most of the time it's because they don't have a plan. Even people with $3, $4, $5 million that you think, Cody, these people are well off. They're concerned too. And so let me talk to you about the key tenets behind a successful retirement plan. I like to refer to them as the playbook for each of these pillars. And so the first one by far, that's going to give you the most confidence, the most certainty for you to permanently unemploy yourself, is making sure you know exactly where your income is derived from. So this is your income playbook. It's which accounts and which amounts am I going to pull from each and every year on the most tax efficient basis. If you're like most people, you have accounts kind of scattered different places, different products that you've bought over the years, but nobody's really taken the time to synthesize all of those things into a coordinated income strategy. Maybe you have a pension. Maybe your Social Security is significantly greater than your spouse's. Maybe your spouse is going to get 50% of yours, but you're wondering, what's the timing behind that? When we create an actionable step-by-step income playbook where you can really look into the future, 5, 10, 20 years, and know with certainty where your money's going to come from, it's a peace and an empowerment that's hard to describe. It also gives you the courage to actually, again, take that step and retire yourself. So that by far, I think, is the most important one that you're going to need. Number 2 is going to be your investment playbook. Where is your money actually at in terms of the asset allocation? Is it stocks? Is it bonds? Is it CDs? Is it savings accounts? Right? That actually matters because you can actually have a really good income playbook. But if you have your money invested in a way that you could take a 30, 40, or 50% loss in the market, well, then your income is going to get obliterated if it's not positioned and structured correctly. And here at Retirement Wealth Professionals, we use a simple but powerful framework that helps make sure that every dollar you have is assigned a specific role, function, and purpose. You'll have your emergency cash position, your liquidity, where you'll get growth, you'll get protection. You'll have your emergency cash position. This is really the liquid bucket where you're going to pay bills from. It's for emergency expenses, maybe to take advantage of opportunities. You're not going to get a lot of growth here, right? Because that's not what it's for, but you will get liquidity and protection. The middle bucket is going to be really the stability bucket, the protected bucket. The number one rule here is guarantees. I need my principal to be guaranteed here. And this is really where we want to achieve or derive our income from. The most important thing you can do is make sure that all of your expenses in retirement are covered by guaranteed income. Because what that allows you to do when you move to the third bucket, which is the growth bucket, is to really allow that to grow unencumbered, to purchase, the shares of the great companies of the United States and internationally, and let compound interest really do what it's supposed to do. Do we like losing money when the market goes down? Of course not. But as long as we don't have to go pull from that money, especially in a down market, time is the healer of all market losses. And so that framework where we have the right liquidity, we have protection, and we have growth, but we keep those kind of as islands to their own, and we isolate the risk only in the market bucket. That's what allows your investment playbook to really take off, and know that the income playbook that you built is rock solid, predictable, and consistent. And so from the investment management standpoint, we want to make sure the dedication of your assets is correct before we get into the diversification, which will be for another video. The third is the tax planning playbook. Now, I'm not talking about your tax return where you look into the rear view, you give your CPA a box of receipts and they go through it and they say, okay, well, contribute to your IRA this year, whatever that is. I'm talking about being able to look at your assets, look at the future, and really start thinking about how do we reduce or eliminate taxes on your income in retirement altogether. It is possible to do. It does take work, but it's not necessarily how much you have in retirement. It's about how much you can keep. And when you do the proper intentional planning, you can really position those assets and that income in a way where you may not pay taxes again, especially with the new tax laws that are in place today, if you're 65 making, a married couple is 65 making under 150,000 joint, you have a $46,700 standard deduction. It opens up a wide variety of possibilities and actually opens up the ability to do Roth conversions in a very significant way. Now, Roth conversions are a very big buzzword today. And I know that on Facebook and other places, people are telling you, you better get your Roth conversions done because you're in the lowest tax rate in history. All those things are true, but there is a point of diminishing return. So, our mantra is you want to be able to run it through the lens of math and science. Don't let someone just say, hey, you've got this much room left in the 24% bracket. That's great. But we need to be able to quantify on a long-term basis, what is the impact of conversions on you and on your estate? And does it actually make sense for you? So tax planning playbook is critical, but you also need to find someone who really understands it and knows how to do it. The fourth playbook is healthcare. You will spend a lot of money on healthcare. Now, if you are retiring before 65, there are some significant subsidies that are still available. I know there's a lot of noise politically right now, and there's new bills coming out and being proposed. But as it stands today, if depending on where your money's at in retirement, if you're worried about $1,000 or $2,000 a month healthcare, just know that there are ways to significantly reduce that until you're 65. I've worked with many couples who are retiring at 63, and we've gotten their healthcare to $200, $300 a month as a couple, so that by the time that they hit 65 and are on Medicare, they didn't blow through tens of thousands of dollars before they got there. Your healthcare playbook can make a tremendous impact on your retirement. But not just do I get a Medicare supplement, do I do Medicare Advantage? We also have to think about long-term care. The reality is, if you're a married couple today, one of you is probably going to have to use long-term care or go into long-term care in some form or fashion over the next 30 years of your life. And so there are long-term care plans that exist today that don't involve you paying a premium every year. And if you pass away, nobody gets the benefit. There are ways to really take, $1, turn it into $3 for long-term care and have full control and liquidity when you do that. And so it's very important to talk to someone that also understands not just, again, the healthcare side of things from a health insurance and Medicare aspect, but also from a long-term care, long-term positioning within your plan. The last playbook that we look at is your estate planning playbook. Now, if you don't have a basic will and powers of attorney, then please run out and go get one immediately. It's very easy today. I know we don't wake up on a Saturday and say, you know what, I think I'm going to go get a will today. But you can go to websites such as, willsandtrust.com, and within 40 minutes, like I helped my parents do, for a couple of $100, you have your will in place so that your instructions upon your passing are honored. You have a medical power of attorney. You have a financial power of attorney. For a lot of people on this video, maybe that's all you need. If, however, you've got very specific instructions, goals, and wishes for your estate, for your heirs, then a revocable living trust might be the right thing to do. A trust is basically like having your own little corporation for your assets that can be controlled when you guys graduate to heaven, right? You don't need to be around for it to go where you need it to go. And with blended families today, or if we have special needs kids, or maybe you're just worried that, Johnny or Susan are not going to do well with $2 million dropped in their lap. It's important to have those instructions upon your death that make sure that you are stewards of your assets long before you are gone, or long after you're gone. And it's not about entitling. We want to abolish entitlement and really empower them to do great things with that money. And again, it doesn't have to be money. It could be, principles, it could be books, it could be leadership, it could be courses you want them to take. There are a lot of ways to structure a living trust that, do some phenomenal things long-term with your money. So those are the 5 key tenets, or the 5 playbooks behind every real retirement plan. And, if you're working with a fiduciary, remember, just because they're a fiduciary doesn't mean they're doing holistic planning. You want to have the right process, the right checklist, and you want to be able to know how to ask the right questions. There's so much noise in today's world that we need to be able to separate signal from that noise. So I hope that helped give you a framework and kind of a scaffolding for what your retirement plan should look like. If you have any questions or you'd like to connect about your personal situation, there is a link in the description below that'll take you to a calendar. You can connect for 30 minutes with us, no obligation, no charge, and we'll help point you in the right direction. See you on the other videos.